go!
Welcome to this month's edition of Mustang Magazine, featuring projects from our TV1 classes. I'm Kiki Thaxter.
And I'm Brendan Hurley. We start today's show in the freshman art classes where they're making some noise. Brooke Ostershell and Nick Cazaros show us the story.
Students are doing ceramics in the 9th grade art class.
To make a ceramic project, you need like clay and tools and your imagination, I guess.
Ceramics is a type of pottery, it's a type of clay that will eventually, when it's finished, it's very tough and shiny.
So they put their ceramic skills to the test by creating an animal spirit shaker.
When you shake it, there's little beady things and it makes noise.
Spirit shakers are basically little figurines of whatever you want.
You could choose any animal, and you can emphasize its features. I chose a cat that's sitting, so I'm gonna do its belly really big.
To create an animal spirit shaker, students have to follow a certain process.
What you do is you take two pieces and you do this thing called scoring, where you just make deep grooves in them. You just stick grooves in it on both sides of the pieces, and you put this thing called putty, which is basically just very wet clay. When you put the two pieces together, they'll stick after it dries.
But for some artists, the art of molding clay is not always easy.
The challenging part about ceramics is getting it the shape that you want, and to smooth, if you want a smooth piece, it's really hard to smooth it out.
It's hard to get the pieces you want to stick on to your piece.
Once it's shaped, your piece is not yet done.
The kiln just heats up and makes the clay hard and stick together and makes it dry.
A kiln fires your clay to, it hardens it and makes it smooth, and it dries the clay out to a hard piece.
Our teacher, Elizabeth Mullaney, helps students respect the kiln and the clay piece that goes in there.
It's called the bisque firing, and that gets fired at 1,942 degrees. So it gets really, really hot in there, and it takes around 13 to 13 and a half hours for a bisque firing from beginning to end.
And students are careful to follow all the steps, otherwise bad things could happen.
If you put it when it's wet, it'll explode basically in the end. So what you do is, after it's dry, you put it in the kiln, and it stays 2 days.
Once the piece comes out, there's just one thing left to do.
All that we do after is we just paint the piece and maybe put some sort of coat on it that makes it shiny.
In the end, Miss Mullaney hopes students learn to respect ceramics.
How to make something personal, how to use the material to create something that is expressive and has personal meaning to them.
I learned that clay is easy to work with and it's hard to work with.
Reporting from the art room, I'm Brooke Ostershell for Mustang Magazine.
Thanks, guys. To see more artwork, check out the glass case displays by the front office.
Next up, we bring you a story on a freshman basketball player who really knows how to run the point. Rachel Noah and Seamus Kelly report.
Freshman Megan Reen is the starting point guard on the varsity basketball team.
When I was little, my sister played basketball when she was little, fourth, when you're younger, and my parents put her in it, so they just decided to put me in as well.
Being one of the 3 freshmen on the team, it wasn't easy for Reen to find her place.
It's nervous because you're the youngest kid, but once you start to get to know the girls, it's a lot of fun.
And Megan exceeded expectations this season with over 300 points, earning herself a spot on the All-Stars.
I was kind of surprised because being a freshman on varsity is already very tough, and so obviously, it was very surprising to me, and I was very psyched about it.
Reen's parents and coaches always knew she'd become an all-star, and having her play point guard was an easy decision.
I just dribble all the time, so probably because of the ball handling skills, they just put me at point.
With her point guard instincts, Megan knows how to get the ball to her teammates.
She's just as good with her right and her left as she is with her right.
Just direct and everything.
basically bring the ball up and like run plays, and you call the plays and you run it.
Always keeps her head up.
Good defense here. Right from there,
Yeah,
and there's a
there
steal
she
by
is, a
Megan
steal by
Reed.
Megan Reed.
And she pushes it down the floor.
And she didn't even look
nice
like,
miss.
Quick hands by the shot.
Yeah, it wasn't there. That's a little nerves by the freshman.
But calling and running plays was the last thing Reen thought she'd be doing in high school. When she was younger, she fought a hard battle against bacterial meningitis and her brain swelled to a dangerous size.
I was in the hospital for 10 days, and at that time I was like 3.5, so I missed three weeks of school and 10 days in the hospital.
Things didn't look promising as doctors told Reen that she could lose her ability to walk. Bacterial meningitis is a very serious disease and can be fatal. It can cause complications such as brain damage, hearing loss, and learning disabilities.
It's similar to the flu, actually. You get like the high fever, the runny nose, the cough, and then your neck also gets very stiff in the back.
Facing a scary diagnosis, Reen stayed strong and made a full recovery, making her future basketball career possible. These days, basketball is her life.
Nice job, beautiful.
So look for Reen working hard on the court next season as she attempts to outshine her freshman year.
Nice hands on Megan Reed there.
Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Rachel Noble.
There we go.
Be sure to catch Megan on the basketball court next winter. Now we're going to change things up and head over to the music room.
This story is about a junior musician with big plans for the future. Sadie Kroll and Patrick Forrest bring us the story.
I have no words to describe my love for music because I could go on and on about it.
Bella Aspinwall is a talented musician who has been singing and playing instruments for many years. Music has a lot of importance to her.
Music makes me feel many emotions. I guess it depends on the song, the time of day, where I am. I've learned so many things about me, about other people, about things around the world that I would never know. And keep my eyes above the waves.
Bella has had many influences growing up with music in her household.
My mom influenced me a lot when I was growing up. She would be singing and playing guitar and piano.
I'd like to say she was influenced by me first because I tend to be musical and I like to sing, and I would sing to them when they were little.
And also with my grandmother. She sang and played guitar and piano, and I would sing with her when I was little.
Even with these influences, she's not quite sure how she got started singing.
I know when I was little that I would sing with my grandmother and my mom to the radio, but I was never really serious about it until around 8th grade when I joined honor chorus at the Cokie Middle School, and from there I started getting more serious about it.
Her music ability has an effect on her as well as others around her.
I like that I can do something that I love to do, and then it can influence other people, or it can bring joy to other people.
I think she loves it and has a natural love for it as well, and it's something that shows when she does play and when she does sing. And I think people who know her and who do see her perform feel that and pick up on that.
Bella's not quite sure where her music will take her, but she knows that it will always be present in her life.
It will definitely always stay with me, no matter if I'm goofing around with a guitar in college or singing in a church choir when I'm 75, it will always be there, and hopefully I'll be making the best out of what I have.
Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Sadie Kroll.
Thanks, Sadie and Patrick. Up next, we have a story about a girl with a special talent.
Freshman reporters Max Cropper and Victoria Hickson have the story.
Zoe Glazier has a passion for cosmetics.
I started my makeup in 5th grade, doing like mascara and that's it. And then now that I know how to do other people's, I started doing theirs like around last year in 8th grade.
And Zoe's makeup collection is extensive.
I have more makeup than the average girl, but less than a professional person would.
But Zoe didn't learn makeup all by herself.
The person who inspired me to start makeup was a girl named Bethany Moda, who makes videos on YouTube of how to do her makeup.
Over the years, Bethany's makeup tutorials really helped Zoe with her skills.
A makeup tutorial is someone putting on makeup in a video and showing you how to use it in certain ways. I would say I'm pretty good at makeup because I've been doing it for so long and it's just something I've been doing forever.
And it's Zoe's love for makeup that pushes her to be the best.
I like makeup because I'm really good at it and it's just really fun to work with all the colors and everything.
Whenever someone asks her to do their makeup, Zoe always says yes.
It's actually a lot harder to do other people's makeup because I have been doing it on my face for so long, and then it's just when you do it on theirs, you like mess up a lot. I use it for my face, lips, eyes, like eyebrows, all of that.
Makeup can be expensive for Zoe.
When I get like money from my birthday or money from like holidays or anything and babysitting, that's like how I buy makeup. Like I spend it with my own money.
Overall, makeup plays a big part of Zoe's life.
It's something and one of the only things I actually feel really, really good at, and it just makes me like feel better about myself. Pursuing with makeup when I'm older would be something I'd be interested in because it's something I'm really good at and something I enjoy very much.
If you ever need makeup advice, see Zoe. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Max Cropper.
Thanks, guys. You know, if I ever need my makeup done, I know just who I'm going to call.
For our next story, reporters Stephen Tribuna, Richie Watson, and Caleb Brotman caught up with a big club on campus.
It might seem gross, but composting your food scraps can really help the environment.
What composting, if effectively done, will do for our school is reduce waste in the dining hall, reduce waste that the high school is producing. Will actually save money for the high school so that we can use that money for other things.
And teaching kids to be more environmentally friendly is exactly what the Environmental Youth Coalition is trying to do.
It's a club here at Norwood High School. That's goal is to make Norwood High School more green and to try to help promote awareness about the environment and make our school more green.
Mrs. Leichman is a second-year advisor for the Environment Youth Coalition, known around our school as EYC, and their main goal this year is to get students composting.
Composting is when you take food scraps and other biodegradable matter and turn it back into organic matter that can be used as soil fertilizer. The composter is basically a bin outside the school that helps the food scraps turn back into organic matter.
And by using the composter, NHS can reduce its carbon footprint, which in turn helps the environment.
What we need to do is get 100% involvement, and a lot of kids know about it, but they don't really participate, or some kids sort of participate half-heartedly. We need everyone to be really motivated to do this, and only then will it be successful.
Once EYC can stockpile enough organic soil fertilizer, the plan is to start a garden in the courtyard.
If we plant a garden, we can help tend the garden, we can beautify the school, we can use the garden and potentially even long-term grow food that we might eat in the dining hall.
Currently, EYC is trying to get the word out that it's time to start throwing leftovers in the composter.
You're down at the dining hall, tell the people at your table to compost, ask your friends if they've composted, tell your friends why you're composting, and if everyone starts doing it, it will become second nature to us.
So remember, NHS, don't throw away those food scraps, compost. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Richie Watson.
To join EYC, go to Mrs. Leichman's room on Tuesdays after school.
Next up, we have a story about an experienced computer expert. Colleen Osborne and Zach Kimmett report.
I don't even know what's in here. Look, cables.
Brendan Hurley has a passion for technology.
I like technology because it gives you the opportunity to kind of express yourself in a really strange and symbolic way.
When the family computer broke, Brendan used this opportunity to use his new skills to build a new computer.
And we needed a new one, and I was like, I really don't like those. And so I was going to see if it was even possible to build your own. Found out it was.
Instead of buying a computer for $2,000, Brendan has spent less than $500. But building your own computer can have some disadvantages.
When it breaks, you can't blame anybody. It's on you.
But it's not always easy for Brendan to find the right parts.
It's nothing about even building it. The hardest part is finding the parts that you want and making sure they all work together like one big happy family. The most important necessary part of a computer is the motherboard.
And Brendan will tell you that the motherboard is the brain for the computer.
You sit it into the case, screw it in, then every other part gets plugged into that.
Memorizing computers may be hard, but for Brendan, it comes easy.
People always think that, oh, you built a computer, you must be extremely smart, or you must be a complete nerd. No, really anyone can build a computer.
Brendan says the best part is that you can make it to your standards.
When you build it, you can build it any way you want. You can customize anything, everything, make it exactly how you want it, make it do whatever you want it to do.
From Brendan's computer lab, I'm Colleen Osborne, reporting for Mustang Magazine.
You know what? That kid looked familiar.
He does. I bet you know more about computers than I do. Now Joe Lianos and Dan French take us over to the lacrosse field to catch up with a junior player.
Danny Farrell is the captain of the boys varsity lacrosse team and has been a starter since he was a freshman.
That's pretty special. It gave me a lot of confidence going into summer lacrosse, and I was playing with a bunch of kids my age, and I was used to playing with kids who were seniors, like 18 years old, and I was 14.
That confidence translated into Danny becoming a threat on the offense.
My most memorable moment was my first goal. I mean, it was pretty special because Coach got really loud. He started screaming for me, and all the other seniors did too, so it was pretty awesome.
Although Danny had success early, he still faced challenges playing with older kids.
Probably my height, because there's a lot of kids who are taller than me out there who are faster, stronger, just because of their height, and I think that's kind of a disadvantage for me because I need to work that much harder to keep up with them.
None of the challenges stopped Danny from becoming a premier lacrosse player at the high school level.
Skill, I mean, he's one of the better players on the team, but mostly his IQ, and he knows the game. Like coaching any star player, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. If they're doing well, it's a great thing, and if they're not doing so well, it's probably not the easiest thing because, you know, players that are at the top end of the talent pool on their team, they want to succeed and they want to do well. So when they're not doing well, it's frustrating for them. So it's hard for everybody. I mean, he needs to grow a couple of inches and maybe hit the weight room a little bit, but he's going to be fine. He'll find a place somewhere that'll find, you know, a way to use the talents that he has. So I don't think he'll have any problem playing lacrosse at the next level.
Even though Danny is one of the better players on the team, he knows it takes a team effort.
Favorite part about lacrosse is helping the team win. I mean, just doing anything I can do to help them. And that's what's most important about the game, because we're a team, not individual.
Thanks, guys. The lacrosse season is wrapping up now, but be sure to catch some games next spring.
Recently, I learned that our class president has an interesting hobby. Mike King and James Golden, check it out.
Freshman Phil Nguyen's father signed him up for martial art 3 years ago.
My father was like, you should take a martial art because it could help you. So I was like, all right. And then I used to take karate, but then that wasn't really too good. So then we found Taekwondo. And he's like, all right, you're gonna train 5 days a week. I'm like, all right, why not? And I've been sticking with it since February 2011.
Phil's sport of choice is Taekwondo, which combines combat and self-defense techniques with sport and exercise.
Of Taekwondo is the art of hand and foot fighting. So mainly using your hand and feet, which is cool.
People don't know that Taekwondo is a Korean martial art and that it is very similar to karate. However, Taekwondo utilizes more legs than karate.
And like other martial arts, you progress by earning different levels of belts.
I'm a temporary black belt.
And what can you elaborate on that? What does that mean?
Which is a belt right below black belt. And to get from a temporary black belt to a black belt, it's 1 year waiting period, and that's minimum. And there's like no maximum, so you just gotta keep training until the masters deem you ready.
You start out as a white belt because white is basically no color. It means you have no experience or knowledge at all. and you work your way up the ladder. The most impressive things about Phil is that he works hard every single class. He has progressed as good as any student could progress.
And part of Phil's training includes teaching Taekwondo to younger students.
I think it could be a really fun job for me to do, because teaching teaches you too, because you're learning from their mistakes, which is great.
People want to be teachers, but just like a lot of people want to be coaches, and some people are better than others at it. Do I think Phil has the raw materials to be a good instructor? Absolutely. I think he could do an amazing job if he chose to do that. He has to want it.
And with all the advanced training, Phil can enter competitions.
You get first place, you can go to nationals, which I just won first place in my division, so I could be going to nationals this summer.
Even though Taekwondo is just a sport, it has taught Phil some lessons about life.
I've been more disciplined, and it made me think differently and view things differently. Yeah, it's my first priority. It's really special to me. I plan to stick with it for the rest of my life.
Just watching Phil fight makes it easy to see why he chose Taekwondo as his passion. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Michael Green.
Thanks, guys. That seemed like a lot of hard work.
Speaking of hard work, next up we have a story about a dedicated athlete. Danny Sullivan and Megan Wiggin report.
Paul Galvin is a 15-year-old baseball player who plays shortstop and pitcher for Norwood.
I play baseball because it's probably my favorite sport. I've been playing it since I was really young.
Paul has a lot of responsibility as a shortstop and a pitcher.
You're basically the quarterback of the team, I'd say. You have to know the cutoffs and where to cover and help out your teammates when there's all these different situations. You just have to know what to do. Pitcher basically makes up the game, I'd say, and you just have to be able to get outs any way you can, just strike outs, pop outs, ground outs, just help your defense out and make it easy on them.
Paul is a big part of his team.
If there's not a definite captain spot, but if there was, it would be Paul, and he's just great at what he does, and he gets the job done.
Sadly, before the 2013 season, Paul suffered an injury, benching him for most of his season.
It was a scrimmage against another town league, and I was playing shortstop, and it was a line drive up the middle, and I lost sight of it when the kid ran in front of me, and I just lost sight of it for a second, and it hit me in the knee, and then I went down.
In order to come back, Paul needed to do some work.
As the weeks went on, I started to do physical therapy and just do the bike and all the other stuff that the physical therapist told me to, and just the stuff that would get me out quickest.
The injury not only affected Paul, but also his team.
Paul's our leader, and it was just different without him. He was usually our best pitcher. He has the most heart usually. We just missed him this year.
Coming back, Paul is more determined than ever, leading his team to a town, district, and state championship.
It was a lot of fun just being able to make up for the time that I lost when I was hurt, especially with success and winning. It's just fun knowing that I came back from something like that.
There was definitely an improvement when Paul came back. We were missing a leader and a good pitcher and good hitter. All around, he was our best player probably.
Even though Paul is a great baseball player, it took some time for him to come back.
I had to get used to it when I came back, and it's just getting your land legs back and just knowing how to come back from that with being safe and still being able to be aggressive and play the game right without hurting yourself.
Throughout his baseball career, Paul has learned an important life lesson.
You learn that it's patient, because baseball is not really a fast game, and you have to have patience in the field, and when you're hitting, you just can't get frustrated over the little things, or else your whole game is going to be messed up. And then if you mess up your game, then it just takes you out of the whole game. You don't want that.
Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Danny Sullivan.
Thanks, guys, and wow, good for Paul.
Up next, we have a story that I did with Juliana Shalmo about an NHS gymnast.
Gymnasts train for hours every day, and injuries are only part of the routine.
The friction from the bar heats up your hands and you get a rip. And it like when you go around the bar, the skin rips up, it peels off.
And when too much skin rips off, expect some blood.
If it's bleeding a lot, then we have to put tape on it, but that's just to stop the bleeding. That's why sometimes if you look at the bars, they're stained red.
I have the girls put Neosporin on it, a Band-Aid, tape it, and put them back on the bars.
Gymnasts can't prevent rips altogether, though there is one thing that can help.
The chalk helps the girls' hands freely rotate around the bars. If they're getting stuck, they're going to rip more. So chalk makes it's like a lubricant as they're going around the bar so they don't get stuck.
It's white, fluffy. It's not like a sidewalk chalk. It's fluffier and heavier.
To some gymnasts, having rips on their hands are a sign of dedication.
Well, I always liked getting rips because my coaches always told me it meant you were working hard, whether it's huge or just a little baby rip. This is constant, depending on how big it is. Small ones, it could be a day, 2 days. Big ones, it could take months.
While rips look and feel painful, they do have some benefits.
Under it builds stronger skin, so they get more and more painful and thicker the more they rip.
Even with rips, these gymnasts never really stop swinging on the bars. Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Juliana Shalmo.
Great job, guys. Recently, some students from the TV1 class traveled up to Mount Wachusett Community College for a broadcasting workshop.
As part of the workshop, we made stories under a tight deadline. I caught up with a woman who runs a tight kitchen at Mount Wachusett. Let's take a look.
Ex-culinary arts teacher Lynn Franchos has a passion for food and has followed that passion all the way to Mount Wachusett Community College, where she can be found hard at work in the Green Street Cafe.
I'm very involved in the kitchen. I do a lot of the cooking, so I do all of the soups and hot entrees and things like that. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'm really comfortable with it.
And for one thing, working in the kitchen is no piece of cake.
When I come in the morning, I come in for 5:30, and I set up the whole cafe. I literally empty a whole ice machine myself of ice, and with buckets, and fill the ice machines. It is very stressful. It is very stressful. If we have events going on, we just go faster. Today, we just happened to have 2 events simultaneously.
From 5 a.m. to closing time, Miss Franchos has no time for breaks.
When I get in my car at the end of the day, if I have to run an errand or something like that, I just won't stop because I get to sit down for the first time, and I just cannot bring myself to get out of the car and have to walk anymore.
And after a long day of work, that's exactly what she ordered. From Mount Wachusett Community College, I'm Brendan Hurley.
Great job, Brendan. Well, that's all we have for this month from the TV1 classrooms, but be sure to tune in next year to see more of our stories.
And you can always check us out at NHS-TV.org or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
For Mustang Magazine, I'm Kiki Thaxter.
And I'm Brendan Hurley, signing off.
Yay!
Yeah.
That's pretty good. No, that's actually kind of fun.
Oh, jeez. If I ever need my makeup done, I know who I'll. So, if I ever need my makeup done. Right. Thanks, guys. If I ever need my makeup done, I know just who I'll call.
Like that? You know what you have to say?
I'm sorry.
The story.
Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. Good idea, Tess McGuire.
Yay! Say it, whatever.
Up next, we have
Robbie. Do it in a bigger, not a